seeing how unconstitutional it is and how unjust it is and how it's singling out one group of people based on their religion, I think that calls for all of us to be out on the streets.
It's pure racism, I think. It's just like Islamophobia, nothing else. I think these protests kind of give you hope again. And we're like, yes, people are fighting. People aren't giving up.
Thousands packed Boston's Copley Square, echoing nationwide protests against President Trump's immigration order. Among those protesting, it was Massachusetts Democratic Senator Ed Markey, who joins me now from the Senate. Thank you very much. Senator, I know that Chuck Schumer is calling for a 6 p.m. protest on the steps of the Supreme Court, but what effectively can Democrats do? You don't have the votes to overturn this, and he has broad discretion as President of the United States.
Well, we can begin with the protest. We can ask for a vote on the Senate floor this evening, which Chuck Schumer intends on doing, so that we can put everyone on record, Democrat and Republican, on this unconstitutional and essentially un-American act. And so the Democrats are going to fight as hard as we can to find every single aperture through which we can ensure that the American people know that we are fighting to overturn this ban.
You know, he is saying it's not a Muslim ban. That's what the White House is saying. How do you challenge that claim that this is not targeting Muslims?
It is targeting Muslims. Today, over the weekend, the Iraqi parliament voted that they are now not going to allow Americans to travel to that country. Well, Iraq is our principal ally inside of that country battling ISIS. So if we're banning Iraq from coming to America, Iraqis are banning Americans from going to their country, that actually makes us less safe. That makes us basically playing into this ISIS idea that it's a war against Muslims around the world. It's going to be an incredible recruiting tool for ISIS, and the Iraqi government's actions in voting to ban Americans is just the first step in what we're going to see as retaliatory measures against the United States for taking this action against Muslims.
Secretary Mattis at the Pentagon, Secretary Kelly at DHS, both issuing important clarifications today that people who legally ought to be able to travel will not be excluded, including the Iraqis who helped our military. What does that tell you about the way this was done and the role of Steve Bannon and others inside the White House ignoring any advice that they may or may not have even gotten from the cabinet secretaries or the cabinet agencies?
Donald Trump is treating this entire job, which he has, as the boardroom of The Apprentice, and not the life and death matters that are considered in the Situation Room. By excluding General Mattis at Defense, by excluding General Kelly at Homeland Security, by now saying that General Dunford, the chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, is not going to be automatically included in the Security Council principals meeting, while simultaneously saying that Steve Bannon says that he does not understand the job. Excluding these generals who I think the American people would rely upon for their judgment from these huge decisions, while elevating Steve Bannon to this position, actually says that the president is not taking this job seriously, and it is going to be something that reverberates around the world, that he is going to allow an ideological right-wing Republican to make the decisions that should be made by the security professionals in our country. It is about as dangerous a decision which the president is making in elevating Steve Bannon as is possible to send as a signal to the rest of the world.
And in a word, your support or your vote on Rex Tillerson?
I oppose Rex Tillerson. Rex Tillerson, as the CEO of ExxonMobil, actually was able to put together an area the size of Wyoming inside of Russia for drilling rights for ExxonMobil. That is a fundamental conflict of interest. As this Russia-America relationship becomes more and more central, you cannot have the CEO of a company with that kind of a fundamental conflict of interest in the room making decisions that could have a profound impact upon the security of our country.
Senator Markey, thank you for being with us. Thank you for this today.